thank you very much for the engagement on the online platform. We are receiving your comments, we are receiving your questions, and we are truly, truly privileged to be engaging with you. Please don't forget to continue to hashtag Skills Summit 22. That is hashtag Skills Summit 22. Visit our online exhibition and the expo as well. Remember, the more you engage, you stand a chance to win great prizes. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any more time, we are now talking empowering women through skills development. Remember earlier on, I told you that today's critical topic is future perfect skills for employability, one, and entrepreneurship. I am accompanied by expert women who are just killing it in their industry, as young people would say. And without further ado, let me welcome Ms. Makosi Jean Chiwashira, who is the Skills Development Manager for Media 24 and Fiber Processing and Manufacturing Seta. She actually sits as a board member for FP&M Seta. We then have Kosi Mavimbela, who's the Executive Director for the Forest Sector Charter Council. Then we have the Honorable Ms. Jean Anashir, who is under the WIM Africa's focal point for UN and ECOSOC. So she'll be explaining more about the organization. Thank you very much there, Jean. We also have Ms. Lisejo Khaikane, who's the sustainability and energy management professional. She's a chemical engineer and a project manager as well. We have Natasha Antha, who's the operations director for Tandega Vocational Education Trust, and that is a TVET college or TVET Technicon. Welcome, ladies. May I then ask you to introduce yourselves, your organization in representation, and of course, what do you think about empowering women through skills development? Let's start with you, Makosi.
Good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Makosi Chiwashira, and as Tabang has said, I work for Media 24 as the Skills Development Manager, and I also sit on the FP&M Seta board. I've actually been in the skills space for a very long time. I joined Media 24 in 2008, and in these years that I've been with Media 24, I have watched women, especially, start as interns and end up as editors in the space. Generally, at Media 24, there is like a sequence in talent and skills development. You know, it starts with recruitment and the, talent, identifying talent, and that process of starting off some as bursary holders, some as interns, and the mentorship involved, and all the interventions. And also, I must emphasize that being a media company and sitting at FP&M Seta, the support that the Seta has given us in terms of advancing the journalism in digital space has been amazing. So, for me, who started off as well in 2009 as PA to the training manager that time, I've also grown in that space, and have one of the women that, when I talk about skills development at Media 24, I am one example. I give myself an example of how I've grown through skills development. But I'm also involved in the SAN of the South African National Editors Forum as a education and training member. So I'm also involved in the industry, and I've also been involved in the Association of Independent Publishing, where Media 24 has gone in and helped with the digital media with the help of a training provider that I'll talk about later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Makosi. Truly appreciate it. Looking forward to engage further on your industry, and particularly the activities that women are involved in, and also the challenges as well. Can we have Natasha, please?
Thank you, Tabang. Good afternoon, fellow panelists and everyone who's joining us today. I'm Natasha Anther, the newly appointed Operations Director at Tandeka Vocational Education Trust. And I really am grateful to the FP&M Seta and my fellow directors for the opportunity to be able to represent our college and our sector where we're discussing the very relevant issue of empowerment of women through skills development in a time where gender-based violence has really plagued our country. Just by way of introduction, Tandeka Vocational Education Trust is a private training provider, and we train extensively in the clothing and textile sectors, but we're not limited to those sectors as we endeavor to train in the manufacturing and retail value chains. I am extremely proud of the fact that we are a 100% management team of women, and with a staff complement of 85% of women as well. My journey at TVET SA is really a testament to the work we do through skills development and empowerment of women. 12 years ago, I started off as a receptionist at a finishing warehouse with our MD, Jennifer Choice, and really through her support and mentorship and the various opportunities for self-development that came through the college. I'm proud to say that I was appointed as a director at the age of 34 in November of 2021. And again, this speaks volumes to what we do in the sector to uplift and empower women. We have a number of projects where we train and develop young women for the formal sector and put them into job opportunities where we've built such strong industry partnerships that we're able to really give them opportunities that they never had before. And this is our mission, to build South Africa's workforce and really do this one job at a time. Through these programs, we also work in deep rural areas where we break in traditional and cultural barriers by giving opportunities to women to become financially independent and really become economically active citizens of South Africa. And you know, in the manufacturing sector, the operational level of manufacturing is historically and predominantly made up of women who sit on sewing machines and work in the various parts of a factory. But we're proud to be partnering with the FP&M Seta to do an ERRP project that promotes the advancement of women into senior positions within those organizations. And also through this ERRP project, we are implementing a sewing machine mechanics program where 20% of the people enrolled or learners enrolled on the program are women. And I think it's truly remarkable to see how women are moving up in the industry and going into those previously male-dominated positions. But in addition to job creation in the formal sector, we also work very closely with community partners as we understand that there's a need to develop women in the informal sector as well. So we just recently did a project in the Philippi community where we did a domestic sewing skills program. And 90% of the learners who came out of those programs were women from the community. And we gave them the entrepreneurial skills to start up their own businesses. And at the end of the program, awarded them with a sewing machine in order for them to go into their communities and start up their own businesses, which was the intention of the program. So as an organization, we are extremely passionate about the upliftment and creating jobs for women. And so, Tabang, I can talk about this all day long, but I'm going to give back to you and we can pick up the conversation just now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And you flow so well, like you're reading from a script. It's absolutely amazing. I was captivated there for a moment. Thank you, Natasha. Can we have Miss Jean? And then we'll have Lesego, and then we'll have Kosi after that.
Right. Hello, ladies. My name is Jean Anishere. I'm a senior advocate of Nigeria, and I'm the focal point for WIM Africa. WIM Africa is an acronym of an organization known as Women in Maritime in Africa. Women in Maritime in Africa is an organization that is established about 5 years ago to promote and empower African women in the maritime industry. Presently, WIM Africa is constituted of about 27 African countries. Women in these 27 African countries come together under the umbrella of WIM Africa to share views, to network, and to empower ourselves towards attaining international best practices in the maritime space. I was the president of WIM Africa for 3 years, but haven't assisted in registering WIM Africa with the United Nations NGO consultative body, otherwise known as ECOSOC. I was nominated unanimously to be the focal point for WIM Africa as it relates to ECOSOC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Anishere. Thank you. Appreciate that. Lesego?
Thank you very much, Tabang. Good afternoon, everyone and fellow panelists. My name is Lesego Khaigani, And I've been in the strategic energy management and water efficiency sector for the past 13 years. I'm currently a senior project manager at the Water Research Commission and a board member of South African Females in Energy Efficiency. I have a strong passion for mentorship in order to develop and capacitate young female professionals, and this has translated in some of the engagements I get involved in. And I think what excites me is to see how empowerment of women and skills development has played a crucial role in the careers of the women that are represented in this panel. So I'm representing two organizations, my employer, the Water Research Commission, and the association that I belong to. So I'll start off with some of the key aspects of the South African Females in Energy Efficiency, where our vision essentially is to establish a large representation of females playing an influential role in energy management. And we do this through promoting women and exposing them, that we have more females in the energy management field, where we offer coaching and mentoring to these women, where we create also a platform for these women to support each other and engage and share information. And also we are also a representative voice for women in the sector through advocacy and influence. And then on the Water Research Commission, I think what's quite important is that our role in empowering women is quite intentional, where we work towards shifting the paradigm and ensuring that women play a leading role in water science research. Because as we know that the STEM sector is mostly male dominated, and we play a role in making sure that there's a large representation of females in that sector. Our annual performance targets are specific about the amount of emerging young female project leaders that we have in our project, the amount of female project leaders, as well as those that are from previously disadvantaged backgrounds. And this is not just a tick boxing exercise that we do. However, we ensure that there are measures in place to ensure that this occurs, and also how we actually go about capacitating these women along the way, because we know that capacity development and empowerment also comes through practical experience and on the job training as well. So we ensure that we offer that to the women that we work with. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lesotho. We look forward to engaging further about your industry. Mavimbela, Mamkosi.
Tabang, good afternoon, ladies, and to the panelists. Thank you for bringing us on board. I am Kosi Mavimbela, the Executive Director of the Forest Sector Charter Council. You've already said that. The Forest Sector Charter Council is an institution that is responsible to oversee transformation in the forest sector. You must know, and I'm sure most of us know, that we have what we call BBBE, which is broad-based Black economic empowerment, to ensure that it expands the opportunities to those that have been previously disadvantaged by what happened in the history, and we wouldn't want to dwell more on that one. The good thing that I'm passionate about, or the good thing about this program, is that it brings in targets for women, because we know what happened in the past. Women were more in the spaces of grooming children and in the household spaces. They were not more or less in the business setups and all that. So we've got targets for women in skills development, in management control, where they climb up the corporate ladder and also participate in certain amounts of boards. And we also targets where we want to see women owning businesses and creating jobs. Also, what excites me about this program is that it addresses what we all are discomfortable about. I mean, what we are uncomfortable about, and that's the inequality. And this is where most women were heavily affected. And I think as a society, as a family, as a workplace, this is one area that we still need to do more, and we must make sure that we do not promote.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mavimbela. I'm going to ask a question that I'd like all of you to contextualize within your industry and the spaces that you're in. And my question is, what is the problem? What are the problems that women are facing in your respective industries, in your respective organization? You can even, look at it from an economic perspective as well. But what are the key problems? And maybe each of you can mention just two in your relevant industries.
I'm not sure if I could start, but one of the key things is that it's recognition and acknowledgement of the powers that women have. And we need to start acknowledging even the small contributions that they make. If you refer to forestry, we see women in the nursery space. But if we ask myself, how many of the women are in those spaces, we are not able to say, and we are not able to actually magnify their contributions to the final product of paper that we use in our daily lives. And also the support and the availability of resources. I think we do put targets, but we're not meeting the targets. So it basically means we're not doing more, we're not empowering more. And those are the things that I think we need to touch base mostly on.
Okay, Makosi, you can go ahead.
5 years ago, I would have said the newsrooms are not transformed enough. But now, like at Media 24, I would gladly say that the newsrooms are very transformed. The one problem that seems to sometimes come up, is pay parity. The feeling that male editors would probably be paid more than female editors in the industry. I'm not sure whether that's still happening, but that would have been a problem. But I also think that, the promotion of females then, like I'm saying that I see now the transformation, the support that the women get from their male counterparts, it has sort of like shifted. I think what's happened at Media 24 is because of having women, a lot of women in power, a lot of things have changed. So we are quite ahead of the little problems that were there some years ago, having a boys club in the newsroom. It has actually really turned around. And I still have a few examples of that and how amazing Media 24 has empowered women in the newsrooms.
Okay, Natasha?
Thanks, Tabang. I think from my side, in my introduction, I mentioned in the deep rural areas, there's a lot of cultural and traditional barriers that still come up every day, where women are still marginalized because they're still supposed to be the ones staying home, looking after the kids, cooking dinners for the husbands. And I think that's something that in the various provinces that we train, we have huge projects running in the Isitebi area in KZN, and then also in the Caledon area in the Western Cape, where we're still seeing those, but we really are breaking down those walls. We're saying, here's the opportunity, give it to the women and let them build themselves up, because we need to start empowering the women to be able to earn an income and really become economically active citizens where they're going in and they're financially stable in order to sustain themselves and their families, and they're not dependent on a husband or a family to support them in their communities. But then also in the clothing industry, there's a history of male-dominated positions where males were the production managers and males were the owners of the companies. But that shift is happening, and I think with the support through the ERRP projects that are coming through, the FP&M Seta has funded one recently, and I know at government level there's a restructuring or reconstruction plan in place to change that, and that's why we're empowering women. So historically, we have those challenges, but I see slowly but surely we are breaking down those walls and giving the opportunities to women where they can become empowered and can build themselves up.
Okay, thank you. Jean, and then we'll have Lesego.
Two problems from WIM Africa is finance in the area of sponsorship. Most of the women are trained locally, but they need sponsorship. They need scholarships to go abroad to be able to acquire the international best practice that we talk about. So it's not just being local champions. We really want to be able to attain the international sphere. Maritime is about international commerce. So this is very important. The finance is a big challenge for some of the women in my organization, WIM Africa. The second challenge is breaking the bias. A couple of days ago, the world celebrated women. It was International Women's Day. And the theme for this year, according to IMO, was breaking the bias. So breaking the bias in our society, in our space, maritime space, is very key. We have very few female seafarers in our industry. So Our challenge is how we can break this bias and get more female seafarers on board the vessels, because we know that these women also have the requisite skills and qualifications to man the vessels. So breaking the bias is another big challenge, not only in terms of seafaring, but also in the boards. In corporate boards, we have very few women in the boards of the various organizations, particularly in the maritime space. It is important that women are given the opportunity to serve in the boards where they are qualified. And we do have quite a number of qualified women who can lead in the board.
Thank you. Lesego?
Thank you, Tabang. So from our perspective, I think one issue lies with us as women. I think we sell ourselves short. I think I've seen so many times where a woman doesn't stand up and speak out about their skills or their capabilities. And I think it's time that we realize the power that we have as women. And Khosi spoke about how women are multitaskers, where we are raising families, we are wives, we are running households, and those are critical skills that actually assist us in corporate. So I think we should actually be capable enough to realize that we are confident enough to actually play in the same roles as these main counterparts, and realize that we are enough as well. And we also need to, as women, kind of assist each other out and play the sisterhood, where we share knowledge with each other. We ensure that where another female colleague is lacking, we assist them, instead of just letting them just stand by and say, oh, well, it's not my problem. I think we need to be accountable about how we actually, as women, are allies of each other, and also empower one another in terms of sharing the knowledge, in terms of capacitating each other, and making sure that we see the growth and representation of women within our peers as well. And I think lastly, I think women empowerment and women issues are dealt with prominently during Women's Day, International Women's Day, and certain periods like that. And I think we should shift away from that, where actually it should be the key focus and agenda within companies, where these transformational numbers and equity aspects needs to be in their plans, needs to be in their mandate, where they actually need to see how they transform their exco, how they transform their manco. And it's not just something that they do in a fluffy way where we celebrate, oh, this is the first female CEO a company has received, but it should become a norm. And it should be intrinsic in how a company's moral compass is, in making sure that there is gender equality and female representative across all bounds in the organization.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lesego. Makhosi, let me go back to you. When we speak about women empowerment in the context of skills development, in the context of standard operating procedures within an organization, what do we mean by that, women empowerment?
I think making sure that women have a voice in the organization, because obviously the higher you go, the more you... Okay. There's somebody else.
Sorry, yeah.
If you have a seat at the table with the managers and everybody, the decision makers, then that is women empowerment, because you're also able to contribute to how things are run, to helping other women also, because when you get to that space, you're also able to mentor the others to come up. So that's what I understand by that.
Absolutely, thank you. Let me go to you, Khosi, Ms. Mavimbela. In terms of, the discussion around women empowerment through skills development and so forth, how can we integrate our male counterparts or males within women empowerment and women development?
Tabang, this should be an easy task to do, especially coming from the household setups where we do take care of them as men, either as our husbands or our spouses, our brothers, and our children, and our sons, and so on. So to a certain extent, we're saying, give us the space. Let's partner. Let's not be competitors. Let's work together to build either this organization or this community or whatever we put ourselves to it. And secondly, we're saying, because we are now skilled, unlike what we were before, we are now in a position where we can take decisions. Can be self-sufficient. We can drive our dreams, give us the space to also do those things. And also, more to that, pay us exactly as you pay our male counterparts.
Absolutely. Natasha, would you like to extend on what Kosi has said? Natasha?
Sorry, Tabang. I think coming from an institution where really women are empowered, and an organization where we believe that everyone has the voice, be it male or female, I've never had the challenge of having to not give input, because every opinion matters in our boardroom. So and I think that as women, we have a different opinion to offer. We have a different way of looking at things, a view that maybe comes with a little bit of more empathy, that makes you look at a situation. And it's not to say that a woman's going to deal with it better than a man, or a man's going to deal with it better than a woman. I think together, if we work together and we come up with solutions, we have an all-around approach to dealing with situations. And going into industry, and I project manage a number of projects in the rural and metro areas. And I've seen, working with some of the bigger retailers, how they have empowered women. I've seen how women have come into factories and turned those factories around just because their approach has been a little bit different to that of a male-dominating environment. So I think as women, we have a different perspective to bring. And sometimes that's what a male-dominated environment needs to just flourish a little bit more and grow some more. So I think let's not say men and women, let's come together.
Absolutely.
And let's bring it all together and find an approach that works for everyone all around, and grow the businesses and grow the opportunities for everyone in South Africa.
Absolutely. And with that, you've brought the importance of symbiosis, because the moment we engage with politics of the other, which is what I mentioned in the previous panel, there's a lot of deviation that happens, and we need to work on really integrating in each other's empowerment as men, as women. And after all, what is gender? Because it's a social construct, right? You're not born as a girl or a boy or whatever. You're born as a person, as an individual. And I think we need to start accentuating the individuality within the context of resolving social issues. Jean, maybe you can come in here as well. We've been told that the more you empower women, we increase our GDP. There's a lot of economic activity and economic benefits of empowering women. What economic value do you think women offer, particularly in the maritime industry? And why do we fear going there? Why do we fear to engage more in some of these sectors?
In terms of economic opportunity, if women are on board, if women are empowered to take the same space as their counterparts, the male gender, huge. I mean, let's start with the fact that the ships, the vessels, are otherwise known as she. I mean, when we're relating to ships, you use the gender she and not he. So that is the first startup, that because from the beginning, history has it that women add more value, economically and otherwise, to the growth of every nation's economy. Hence, the vessel, which is the instrument of trade, is known as she. It's actually called a she. So wow. the introduction or the enablement of women in the maritime industry, for example, I mean, it's sine qua non to none. I mean, it's huge. It's not quantifiable. Now, talking about the male gender, for us in the maritime space, we are not competing. We keep saying it to our colleagues, the male gender, that we're not competing with them. You talk about symbiosis. We're not competing with them. We're just saying that we want to work together with you. We want to support you. We want to assist you, if you want to put it that way, but we want to be at par with you in driving the industry forward. That's all we say. in driving the industry forward. Now, there's a joker here. 2 days ago, a friend sent me an email and said to me, Jean, you women talk about women empowerment, you're talking about breaking the bias, you want women at par with men. I heard my sister Thabo say that we want to earn the same salary equal to what men are earning. You know, women want to earn equal salaries with men. But my friend said, when it comes to war, how come the women stay back? They're talking about the Russian Ukraine war.
Right.
All the women to go away, to be evacuated with the children. Even countries like Poland and, you know, and other Bulgaria. I didn't see them say that women within the ages of 40 and 60 should stay back and join the men in fighting the war to save the country, Ukraine. So what is women empowerment?
Sure.
So that's as far as war is concerned. So when we talk about empowerment, I therefore put down what to me is the concept of empowerment. And with your kind permission, I'd like to read it. Just 1 second. What do we mean by empowerment? Empowerment is the degree of autonomy and self-determination in people and in communities.
Sure.
This enables them to represent their interests in a responsible and self-determined way, acting on their own authority. It is the process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's rights. Empowerment as action refers both to the process of self-empowerment and to professional support of people, which enables them to overcome their sense of powerlessness and lack of influence, and to recognize and use their resources. That, to me, is the concept of empowerment. For us to be able to recognize our resources and be given the authority, the enableness to use it.
Yep. Absolutely. That's absolutely profound. Thank you very much. Lesotho, just quickly, on, with regards to the Water Research Commission and the South African Females in Energy Efficiency, what are the opportunities available for the taking, particularly for women?
So I think as the South African Females in Energy, what we try to do is that we have a mentorship program, and this allows us to mentor young female who are still in varsity and nurture them. So these mentorship programs is that we have been conducting them for the past couple of years, and we pair these students with seasoned professionals in the industry so that they can transfer skills and knowledge. And I think I found this quite pivotal, and it actually is a great tool, because then you get to see these students interact with people who they've looked up to, or people who they aspire to be, and they gain some knowledge from them as well. So they are also exposed to the various careers that they could possibly get into in the energy management sector, and they get to also learn from these professionals about how to hone certain skills that are needed for the workplace. Because I think from my experience, what I've seen is that there's quite a large gap between university and the workplace, where there needs to be a bridging of skills for students, because they're not actually equipped with certain skills that are needed for the workplace. Yes, you might be equipped technologically wise or technically with your chosen particular career, but there's certain soft skills that are quite crucial for the workplace. So this is what we do at the mentorship program. And I think personally for me, when I started my career, I was also part of a mentorship program. And the skills that I gained from my mentor and from this process was quite invaluable. And it kind of assisted me to be the professional that I am right now. So this is some of the key things that we do at South African Females in Energy Efficiency. And then what we also do is that our members and affiliates have access to skills and training programs that are internationally recognized and that they are also accredited. And some of the time, these skills programs and training programs are offered free of charge for members to uptake. And they range from a variety of programs where we look at water efficiency, energy management, financing energy projects and energy management systems. So these are the kind of opportunities that we have for our members. And then with regards to the Water Research Commission, I think, as I've mentioned, that the STEM sector is quite male dominated, and we've started now to see women break into these industries, and they're becoming a change and shift of the numbers of women scientists that are there. So what we do is that we enable emerging project leaders to be capacitated through shadowing seasoned project leaders, that they're able to gain valuable skills and knowledge, that when the time comes for them to lead certain projects, that they are able to actually do it with the correct set skills that are needed. And we have specific programs that are community-based. And these projects are sometimes based in the rural areas of the country where access to water and utilities and services is quite poor. So the transfer of skills is done in such a manner that female community leaders are capacitated so that they can have the needed skills to ensure that they can assist their respective communities to be able to access water resources and sustainably continue with these projects once our interactions with them are done. Because I think the key thing about skills development is to also make sure that it's sustainable. So we can never have projects that are lasting for 6 months or 12 months. We need to make sure that we capacitate people with skills that are sustainable enough that they can be able to now do this for themselves. And this is quite something that has worked very well within our projects, where all our projects have a capacity building and skills development component to it. And we make sure that we do that. And I think with some of the research that we do, particularly what our focus is that we aim to promote socioeconomic development by providing solutions that are able to reduce poverty and inequalities in communities. And I think we often see that women are the ones that are mostly affected by these issues. So these research activities that we do and skills that come from these research activities and the tools that we developed ensure that women are able to be alleviated and assisted through these programs. And lastly, I think what I want to touch on is that we as women do not celebrate each other. We do not celebrate the successes that are out there in the sector. So one of our highlights was that last year in March, we actually hosted a Women in Water and Science conference, where it was essentially spotlighting various women in the sector and how we can spotlight the continual transforming of role of women in the water research sector. And we also highlighted certain opportunities for investment in the development of women in science and started to catalyze gender equality. And I think what's also quite key is that we also spoke about women being in business and whatnot. So part of the conference was that there was an innovation cafe, which allowed innovators to be able to provide a 10-minute pitch to the audience. And this allowed them to be able to pitch their innovations and also give them critical skills that are needed so that whenever they are in the presence of an investor, they are able to know what are the key salient points that they need to address, that they need to highlight as quick as possible to get the attraction of an investor. Because not only we are women are working in obviously these various sectors, but then we are innovators, we are business people as well. So we need to make sure that we are capacitated in all spectrums.
Okay, thank you. So ladies, we have run out of time. I'm going to ask you each a question. Please integrate your answer with your closing remarks as well. So Kosima Vimbel, I'm going to start with you. I think Lesego, you answered quite extensively, so you can just give us your last thoughts when I get to you. We'll start with Mama Vimbela. I just want to find out, how has your sector transformed in terms of women empowerment and equality?
Thanks, Tabang. As I said earlier, for us, it's more on the B codes or B scorecard, which talks to the 5 elements, where we give targets to women in owning businesses in the management control that is being promoted to executive boards and so on, and also being skilled through the skills development elements, that is through the learnership, the apprenticeship and internships, and also being given opportunities in the enterprise and supplier development space. I must say that to a certain extent, we are seeing some changes or shift, especially in the ownership space, in the skills development and in the enterprise, or where women are becoming entrepreneurs, or they are starting their businesses and they're employing, or they're creating employment that we so need in the sector. But we're still not there with regards to boards. And I think one of the ladies mentioned, I think it's Jean who said, we still want to see more women participating in boards, because that's where the strategy of the company is decided. That's where the vision, and that gives them an exposure on how to run a business and how to strategize, and also be in a position to even do that for their own businesses. And also what we are seeing is that while we see these changes in women taking up spaces in forestry in the different portfolios or categories in terms of being a forester, machine operator, sawmiller, and all that, we still want to see more of the support for women-owned businesses, where we are able to pinpoint to say, this is what we have in the forestry. I must say that we have got what we call a She is Forestry initiative that we've started 2 years ago, where we are showcasing the talents and the women that are in the sector, so as to try and find a way to say, let's break the narrative to say, this is a male-only sector. We're saying, let's bring in women, let's know who are our role models in the sector, so that the younger generation can be inspired, can be able to pinpoint their role models, which should be us in that space. And I think to a certain extent, as women, we must be able to take up those opportunities. We must be ready. We must have that hunger to take up those opportunities, and we must be able to support each other. I think that's where we also lack to a certain extent, to say we need to support each other, and we must understand that women empowerment starts with us. We need to empower each other. We need to empower ourselves before we can allow other people to expand, so that they know what our visions are, what our dreams are, and what our goals are. And for that, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mama Vimbele Siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you. Makosi, can you come in there? And also, just as you pursue your closing remarks, please tell us, I mean, there's a whole difficulty, I know, in the media space and also with journalism. Women are struggling to break the ceiling. It's either you have to compromise your values somehow to get somewhere. How are you guys navigating those nuances in your particular space? And how can you advise women out there who want to be in that industry to make it, or even to climb the ladder?
Well, I'm not a journalist by profession, so I'm not like privy to exactly, I'm only privy to actually helping them with the training that they need.
So the media space, just the media space as a whole, yeah.
As a whole. So, like I said, there's that question that I cannot answer on the hardship of it. But what I know is happening at Media 24 is, I think, because we've had a female CEO, we are reaching those glass ceilings. Women really have been empowered. For example, we had the first female editor of City Press, Ferio Hafeji. We've had a time when we had the deputy also being female, Lize Kamda, who's still in the skills development space. What I see with what has happened in the media, especially a company like Media 24, is that they have gotten it right in terms of women advancement. And that has really helped, because even in a newsroom like News 24 is agile. It's the best news platform online in Africa. We have a female managing editor. We have multimedia editors as females, women who've gone through our programs. There's 2 who have actually gone through our internship program and gotten to there. Our HR director is female, and she is very, very active on skills development and making sure advancing the women in media. But also in terms of training in the media space, in the whole media space, we have one of the biggest training organizations run by a woman called Paula Frey. And Paula has got programs on media management for the newsrooms. And this has really helped in advancing women also in the independent publishing space, with the help of FP&M Seta funding these programs. So I must say that in the media, we really have advanced in terms of empowering women. And, there's one thing that I cannot not say in terms of that, where Paula Frey says, Africa's story is not fully told if women are not telling their story too. So as much as sometimes I think people look at the media space and think it's not that transformed, I know from the inside how there's been a lot of hard work in terms of transforming it, but also in terms of business-wise, the entrepreneurs. We have at the Association of Independent Publishers that are running publishing companies in rural and townships. And because of the skills development space and being empowered, they have been able to be sustainable even during the pandemic. So that's the media space. We really are advancing the empowerment of women.
Thank you very much, ladies. We have run out of time, so please try to keep your closing remarks a bit shorter, just so that we can proceed. So I'll have Natasha and I'll have Jean, and then
Thank you, Tabang. I think as a training provider, for us, it's important to remind women of their value in society. We have seen that big strides in the empowerment of women are coming through, and we need to maintain that traction and increase that traction. And we need to remind women and continue to encourage and equip them to become strong contenders for those male-dominated positions. I've personally seen how through skills development, lives have been changed and circumstances have improved for women. And I think we should never, ever underestimate the power of giving a woman a skill that can never be taken away from them. Because every day in that learning process is one step closer to their independence and their freedom. And it's truly key to empowering the women in our society. So from me, I say, keep on training us, keep on giving us that power, and just watch us grow. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Natasha. That was profound. Thank you. Sanashia? Over to you.
Yes, indeed. Well, Women Africa is about women supporting women. Hence, we greet each other Ubuntu. So women holding each other's hands and lifting each other up to ensuring that that empowerment does come to us. So at Women Africa, we support one another. We help each other to grow. We make opportunities for the women to occupy the space that they are qualified to occupy. We help them to attain the requisite qualification. In terms of aquaculture, Women Africa is top. We train women in the fishing communities on aquaculture. We make them appreciate that fish farming is another way to go. Because when you feed the nation, you know how healthy the nation is. So that is very important. We also help the young ones, the female seafarers, to get on board vessels. We make a way for them. We hold each other's hands. We support one another. We are, at Women Africa, women supporting women. We are Ubuntu. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Indeed, that someone was clapping in studios. I think that does deserve a round of applause. Thank you, Jean. Ended us on a high note there. Let's go last, very quickly.
Thank you. So I think in my closing, I think I'd like to emphasize that empowerment for me means that there is high corporate leadership in gender equality. And this means that there's insurance of the safety of women at work. I mean, women should not feel like they can't speak up. They feel like they're ostracized and that they are not safe to be who they need to be. So that is quite pivotal in empowerment. And I think there should be an intentional promotion of education, training and professional development that empowers women. And through whether it be job shadowing, mentorship, skills transfer, where it's a team peer learning system that should be incorporated. And I think should these things be incorporated, I think that's where we'll start seeing the strides and actual women empowerment being done. So I think from my side, that's it.
Thank you very much, ladies. Truly, truly a big congratulations to all of you for making strides in the relevant industries that you're in. Continue to represent yourselves and women as a whole. And thank you very much for giving others a chance, other women a chance, and for mentoring in the relevant industries that you're in. I wish you all the best in your endeavors. And indeed, power to the woman. Power to the woman. Thank you so much. Thank you. And you take good care, Shabbat. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the panel discussion on empowering women through skills development. And indeed, it was so insightful and filled with quite a lot of knowledge and food for thought, quite thought-provoking, actually. So please feel free to continuously engage with us online. Our chat room is still open. Don't forget to hashtag Skills Summit 22. That is hashtag Skills Summit 22. And also, you still stand a chance to win great prizes. So keep twitching, keep sending, and we'll be back after the break.